when it comes to helping the people who live along the Gulf, whose livelihoods, indeed their very culture, is being threatened as a result of all this oil spill, then that's not a partisan issue. It's not even a bipartisan issue. It's a nonpartisan issue. And that's why we have so many Democrats and Republicans that are joining me in proposing these tax breaks to try to help individuals and businesses that are suffering the consequences of all this oil now out there in the Gulf off of our coast. The government response, unlike Katrina, has needed to be immediate and swift. It needs a good command and control structure, and for the people who are suffering the consequences, since this is man-made, it needs to be a responsible party who will pay for it so that the taxpayers are not paying for it. That's what we are proposing, in that this big trust fund that's being set up so that the $20 billion will be there reserved to pay people for their economic out-of-pocket losses that they're going to experience. Now, what we're going to do with this legislation is make it easier for them to give them certain tax credits, to also give them the ability of money that they receive, for example, for lost income from BP, that would not be taxable to them if it is used to reinvest into their business. That way, we're trying to help them get back on their feet economically much quicker. And in that regard, it's not a comparison to Katrina. Well, can you imagine responding to this oil spill and letting the oil industry do all of the response? Do you think that that's going to be responsible? If we don't have the U.S. government leading the charge and telling BP what they should and should not do? And what about the $35 billion a year of tax breaks that the oil industry gets? Is that something that we should continue? No, there's a lot that we have learned from this, how the oil industry has completely ruled the roost when it came to the government regulators, and how the oil industry basically told the government regulators what they could and could not do over the last dozen years. Well, that's not only got to change, that is changing. And now a government regulator ought to be in charge, especially when it comes to the safety of our people, by the safety of those oil drilling procedures that are used in the Gulf of Mexico.